So since all the Sonic games are done for now, and I've been putting off Rogue Squadron long enough and I have the free time, I think it's about time I finally get working on Rogue Squadron. So, Rogue Squadron is a game that I've had for quite a while. It's actually my first Nintendo 64 game I ever had. Yeah, it was never Mario Party or Mario Kart or any other well-known Nintendo games, since at the time the Nintendo 64 was primarily my older brother's game system. But, you know, seeing I was a big Star Wars fan, and I also liked flight sims, seeing I played a few before then, I figured I would give Rogue Squadron a try. And I did when I rented it at Hollywood Video a few years ago. So, in the early 2000s, I decided to rent the game from Hollywood Video. And when I saw it, I had no idea, you know, what kind of missions we would do. From the game box, I figured it would just be all battles, just random space battles, and as well as land battles. And for the most part, I was pretty interested by the fact that it didn't involve any of the movies. There were no battles related to any of the movies. It was primarily just all expanded universe stuff. And my younger self was really excited to see this game. Now, first off, this is actually not 100% the first Star Wars flight sim on the Nintendo 64. Technically, the whole flight sim part of it, which wasn't used completely but was used to an extent, was in, I believe it was called Shadows of the Empire, which also was for Nintendo 64, in which you use both the Outrider and the Snowspeeder in a few missions in that game. And it was actually from that game was where they got the ideas for Rogue Squadron as just a pure space flight sim. Now, I've never played any of the X-Wing series, so I've never played X-Wing and never played TIE Fighter, never played X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, that whole series. So I don't really know what is different between this and those games. But all I know is that in this game, it controls basically like any flight sim. Your goals essentially are just, you know, destroying all the enemy TIE fighters and whatever Imperial craft you have, and effectively it's just mission to mission following the story behind this game, which all takes place outside the regular episodes of the original trilogy. And for the most part, you play as Luke Skywalker as he leads the rebels through all these missions. But in the very last mission, the Battle of Mon Calamari, you actually play as Wedge Antilles in a mission that actually takes place after Episode 6. And along with that, that's essentially the game. There's really no 100% cohesive plot that really ties all the games together. It's merely just battle to battle, just seeing what took place outside the original trilogy. And I didn't really care about it. I was pretty stoked just to see this game happen, just to see what went on outside the original trilogy. And ultimately, it's kind of this kind of stuff that makes me like the expanded universe to an extent more than the original movies. But we already have another game for all the stuff that takes place during the movies. Now, as for the gameplay, spacecraft control fairly well for an N64 title, and as well as for just a flight sim. The only issue that I have now when I go back to playing this game is just the draw distance, because the draw distance in this game at times can be pretty short, and the graphics themselves, especially on an HD TV, can really look jagged and just plain annoying to the eye. But I mean, as long as you're used to it and you're just overall not too worried about the graphics, it's not going to be any problem. So, in terms of upgrades and stuff, you earn upgrades by finding little, I believe there are little capsules, I think, and they're scattered throughout certain levels, and you upgrade them to upgrade your weapons, your shielding, and I think also even some upgrade your speed. In terms of your spacecraft selection, you're limited to the one the game wants you to play when you play a level, at least the first time you play through. Though when you return to that, you can unlock additional craft provided you further advance in the story. So, but other craft though, like the Millennium Falcon, I think the TIE Fighter, I believe it is, and are craft you have to unlock by earning medals, which you are awarded during during the missions. Now, the way you get these medals is that you have to achieve certain things that the game wants you to achieve, like how accurate are you, how fast you beat the mission, and as well as how many enemies you defeated and how many friends of yours stayed alive throughout the mission. For the most part, some medals are easier to get than others. For the most part, in my case, this game always wrecks me in lives. Yeah, this is one of those games that when I get to the really hard levels, I wind up having to do the part of having to put cheat codes in just so I can have the infinite life, which I had to do when I first played this because I just got destroyed towards the end of the game. But since then, I haven't really gone too much into replaying these levels. I've gotten a lot better at these games, but it's something I probably wouldn't let's play, at least at the moment. But it's all a matter of how much practice I get and how much time I have. So with that, you can unlock more levels. One is a race, another is a mission in the Death Star Trench, and another is the Battle of Hoth. You obtain them by how many bronze, silver, and gold medals you have. Primarily, it's just you have all the levels with bronze or all levels with silver, gold, and then they each correspond to what you unlock. So if you happen to get all the gold or bronze medals, then you would unlock, I think it's Beggar's Canyon, and then you get all the silver and levels. You get I think it's what Death Star run is, and then all gold would be the Battle of Hoth. Now, like I said earlier, I do use cheat codes every once in a while, whether if I'm playing later in the game or if I'm just unlocking random stuff. Like, there are some things you can unlock, like if you want to unlock the concept art or the galleries early, if you want to play the hidden ATST mission, or if you're wanting to unlock the Naboo Starfighter and the random car that's in this. The one thing that really stands out to me is that there are some really over-the-top death screams, especially in this game, when your character gets shot down or you fly into a wall or you get blown up somehow. I mean, this thing even rivals the Werehog from Sonic Unleashed. Ah, shit. I forgot. I'm trying not to do a year of Sonic, but oh well. It just happened to coincidentally flow into this review. So, with that, overall, Rogue Squadron is a really fun game, and despite some of its dated parts of it, overall, it still holds up well as a flight sim, and as well as just a Star Wars game for the Nintendo 64. Now, some of its other problems would be fixed later on in the game called Battle for Naboo, but Rogue Squadron wouldn't be seeing a sequel until the GameCube. So with that, in a sort of unorthodox move, I will be returning with Star Wars Battle for Naboo, and then I'll get to Rogue Squadron 2 for the GameCube. So until then, this is Matt from Studio 41, and I'm out of here.